2025 is flying by, and I'm not trying to rush it, but I'm already pumped for November because it's BGG-Con! Woohoo! I just love board game conventions that are all about playing games. So BGG-Con is one of my favorite happy places. I mean, where else can you go and play a bunch of hot new releases from Gen Con and Essen, and also discover weird old hidden gems in a massive game library? Join us this fall at the Hyatt Regency in downtown Dallas from November 19th to the 23rd. For more details and to grab your badge, head to BoardGameGeek.com/BGGCon. Hope to see you there. To episode 73 of the Board Game Geek podcast, where we geek out about board games, the mechanisms behind them, and the people who create them. I'm your host, Candace Harris, and I am super excited to be here today in the same room with Shea Parker from RTFM. And also Rado Runs Through.
Yes,
You're
that's right.
doing a little everything. How's it going, Shea?
It's going great. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. I'm like, I've seen so many of your videos to like learn Eclipse and like Twilight Imperium that it's, we're finally getting to game together, which is nice.
That's the fun thing I think about doing like board game content creation and stuff like that, is that you end up watching other people's videos, but through this we end up often, finding ourselves in the same room and actually being able to play games with each other.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of fun.
Super, super duper cool. What's new, like, with you and your channel and stuff? Life?
A few things. I posted a video about this a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago at this point. A real fun thing happened. I got hacked. It was great.
Oh no.
Got hacked, lost access to my channel. There was like a week where I just couldn't, it was shut down for a while, but that's resolved almost completely. There was one email address that I was never able to get back. So, don't click on strange links.
Oh my gosh.
Folks, yeah.
Sorry to hear that. Like, that's such a bummer.
Yeah, it was a rough week.
Oh
But,
my gosh.
But that's done now, and
Yay!
the channel's back up. No, we have been doing some cool stuff on the channel. I actually just released my first ever playthrough video on the channel. Normally, I only do tutorials, but I just released a playthrough of the Frosthaven Digital game, which is in early access, starting early access July 31st.
Cool.
And but I was able to get an early copy, so I made a playthrough video of that with Paula Deming of Things Get Dicey and Matt Capacci of Silver Metal Tavern. We had a great time, and that just went up. So everyone should definitely check that one out.
Awesome. Yeah, I was really excited to see that they were doing a digital version of Frosthaven, because I have been so intimidated to break that game back out, just because it's like, it's a lot.
It's so much. I mean, I played a lot of Gloomhaven when that came out, but my life situation is just different now than it was back then. At the time, me and my roommate could just leave that out on the table and play
That's
it
the dream.
Yeah, play
That's
it
the dream.
2-3 times a week, and then so we played it so much, but that doesn't happen anymore. My wife is not interested in me having a board game set out on the table literally for weeks on end anymore. Who could guess why? But so the digital implementations I think are really, really interesting and a really useful different way to play games like this, especially because it's digital. Maybe you have friends that you want to play with, but they're all the way across the country or something like that, or just aren't able to get away from the house for whole evenings to play this kind of game. So I was really excited to try it. I had tried it out a little bit when they were doing a closed beta. That was like a couple months ago.
Okay.
And so they sent me a link to that, and I really enjoyed it back then. Sure, it's early access, it's beta, so there's bugs. Let's be real about that.
Right.
But the core of it is still Frosthaven, and
Cool.
I was always really interested in trying that out, but never bit the bullet and bought it because I knew I wasn't going to be able to get it at the table.
Yeah.
So really excited to try it out. And, I love Gloomhaven. If you love Gloomhaven, Frosthaven is the gameplay in terms of the combat just as good. There's a few new things that I really like about that as well. Like little things that they change, new status conditions and such, but things that I really enjoy. And of the characters I played, really like playing them. So.
That's cool. Yeah, I didn't really get, I didn't get far with Gloomhaven. And I didn't get too far with Jaws of the Lion either. So, and when I say like regular Gloomhaven, I bought it and I started organizing it one day and then never played it. And then Jaws of the Lion came out.
Yeah.
So then I got that. And then I was like, oh, Frosthaven, let me back that. And started a campaign a while ago and just have not gotten it back to the table. But it's cool. Are you playing on Steam?
Yeah, it's through Steam.
Okay. Yeah, it's cool because our friends that we were playing with actually moved away. So it's the way to get. So this might be my in back to Frosthaven.
Might be.
Cool. Well, considering Gen Con is just about 2 weeks away,
it is.
We're gonna discuss some games that like look enticing to us that are on the Gen Con preview list that Eric Martin and Stephen Cordell kindly put together.
Very helpful for this specific purpose, yes.
Helpful for anybody going to Gen Con. I am actually not going to Gen Con this year. I just needed a break.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Gen Con is a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah. I feel like I've been traveling so much this year already, and I can't ever keep up with like just life and work. And so I'm like, and we're not even gonna talk about the piles of unplayed games that I have. So I want to kind of just like focus on playing what I have, like, what's the expression? Don't bite off more than you can chew.
Sure, yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, and we're all great at that. Every board gamer I know, that's their best skill. So we're really embracing that. No, but I get what you're saying. Like, and I'm also not going to Gen Con. Gen Con is honestly a little overwhelming for me. I've been a couple times and I enjoy myself. But when I go to conventions, what I like to do the most is play games.
Yeah.
And weirdly, Gen Con is actually not a great convention for that.
Right.
If you want to buy the newest stuff, it is obviously the best American convention for that, for, the new releases, demoing new stuff, absolutely. But if you're just interested in hanging out with some friends, grabbing something from the library and busting that out, it's a little bit harder. Not as inviting. So for me, I love the smaller conventions. Yeah, the playing conventions. But can't deny that Gen Con is an exciting convention, and it's where all the new releases happen. So.
Yeah, it's exciting. It is. I think even that overwhelming, like, sensory overload feeling, I love it. And it's definitely not, like, I prefer play cons as well. That's why I love ending the year with BGG Con and everything, or PAX Unplugged. But now this is the year they conflict.
I was gonna say,
they conflict, which I'm kind of not mad about because again, I have less trips now because I'm going to go to BGG Con, you know? But yeah, I definitely enjoy play cons a lot more. They're just like chiller, but it's also exciting checking out new games. Yeah. So anyway, I'm curious to, hear your list, but we will get into that in a minute or a few minutes or several minutes. But before we start talking about Gen Con games we are excited for, and that's Gen Con 2025 releases, I'd love to hear what you've been playing lately, Shea.
Sure.
So let's jump into fresh plays.
So the thing that I've played recently, and I mean, people who know my channel are not going to be surprised that I play Twilight Imperium sometimes.
Yes, that your video is the video that I watch to refresh myself. I give it to people who are like, we're teaching new. Your video is awesome.
Thank you very much. And I always appreciate that. It is kind of funny because I made that video so long ago, and my like style has changed. So like when I look back at that video, I really love how much it has helped people, but I also will occasionally look back and go, "Oh my god, I wouldn't do it that way now."
We'll have to make a new one at some point.
I don't think I can bear to replace it, but maybe if there's a fifth edition,
it's good.
You know. But here, so I've played Twilight Imperium occasionally, and they recently released a codex. Now, Twilight Imperium does this sometimes. I think this is the 4th codex they've released. And what this is a collection of optional add-ons that you can put into your game. Now, in previous codexes, they've focused on replacing certain cards. It's kind of like an update for the game. And you can buy like a printed version of these, or you can print and play with it yourself. It is free to just get the print and play version, which I really appreciate that they do.
Is it like Fantasy Flight that does the codex, or is it fan made? Okay,
it's Fantasy Flight. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
I don't know if they are the ones who handle the publishing of the printed version of it. I'm not sure about that.
Gotcha.
I've only bought the 3rd, and now I haven't bought the 4th codex, but I bought the 3rd codex because that came with a new faction, and I wanted the full faction sheet for that.
Ooh.
But the 4th codex I haven't bought because it is significantly less focused on adding new cards. There's only a couple, but what it has is a lot of narrative. They start off with kind of a backstory. It's like a short story, honestly, in the world, which is kind of neat.
Yeah.
And then there are a couple cards that they add. They also have a lot of additions for the Twilight Imperium role-playing game, which seems cool. I haven't played it. But what I was interested in was they have added new gameplay variants in this. There's like variant rules. So there were, I think, 4 different ones that they included. And they range from like a minor addition, changes the game a little bit, to really big changes. So I actually played with 2, and I don't recommend playing with 2 at the same time, but I was excited and I wanted to try it.
Fair, I get it.
So I played a 3-player game where one of the additions that we added was called minor factions. And so you'll take 3 or as many unplayed factions as there are players in the game, and then you put their planetary system equidistant between players. Which means, and these, the faction planets are always pretty good.
Yeah.
Or usually pretty good. So they're important just for that, but also if you take over those locations, and because they start with a few like ground forces that you have to beat, if you take over those locations, then you get their ally card, which is something that they, it's like a promissory note. I think.
Cool.
No. You get not their alliance. You get their commander card, which is
from the expansion.
From the expansion,
from
exactly.
Prophecy of Kings.
Prophecy of Kings, yes.
Okay. Yeah. That's kind of what I was thinking you were talking about, even when you said allies. So.
Yeah, I always conflate the two because you get it when you are allied. You can use their commander, so it's the same kind of thing. And so it's a way to bring in unused factions' abilities into the game, so it spices things up a little more. Loved that addition to it. I thought that was really cool.
That's
it was
neat.
Yeah, it was a small thing, but it added a little bit of extra flavor.
Can someone, like, let's say you take over one of these minor factions, can someone then come in, knock you out, and then they get the commander power?
Absolutely, yes.
Love that.
So there's definitely some tension in that. The other one that I tried was, I don't remember the name of it, but it basically promoted combat. So an interesting thing about Twilight Imperium is that it's kind of a Cold War game. You will have fights, but often everyone's building up their forces until they feel confident that they can make a big attack and not, lose territory in other places or get retaliated against.
Yes.
But this version of the game, now every time you destroy an enemy's unit, you gain like trade goods essentially, but not trade goods. You just use the token.
Gotcha.
And you put them onto your home system. And if you collect 10 or more of them as an action, you can trade in 10 tokens for a point.
Ooh,
and this is a game that goes.
That's cool.
Yeah, so this is a game that goes to 10 points. So basically every ship that you destroy, and it's not just you get one per ship, it's one, you multiply the cost of the ship.
So you might get multiple tokens towards your 10 to get a point. Wow.
Right, so if you destroy an enemy's destroyer, that's only 1 token, but if you destroy their cruiser, that's 2. If you destroy their transport, that's 4, I think.
But I'm definitely gonna hit your
the War Sun,
because
that's 12. That's a point and change.
Wow, that's cool.
It was so interesting to play because it really, really changed the dynamic of the game. Yeah. Now, I will say, I don't know if I liked it better because, like I said, it really changed the dynamic of the game. We finished that game in 4 rounds. Normally, games of Twilight Imperium go, I'd say 5 minimum. 6, 7, 8 are much more likely. Yeah. No, we finished in 4 rounds because the player who won started round 4 with 5 points. Got 5 more points in the course of that 1 round
because of using this module.
Yeah, so the way he was able to do it was he used his hero ability, the big powerful one-time use ability in this game, and I played very well and got to a point where everyone else had passed, and then he was able to just start a million fights with his hero ability. And because of that, was able to just rack up all of these tokens and just turn them all into points afterwards. So it was very impressive, but it was a lot. And so if you're playing it, you really need to change your mindset, like what Twilight Imperium is. But yeah, it was cool. And there are a couple others that seem very interesting as well.
Do those tokens or whatever they're called? Do they convert automatically? It's an action
to do it, which is another thing because action economy in this game is so important that because a lot of times what you do is you will not a lot, but occasionally you will spend actions just to delay your turn.
Right.
Because you want to be able to do things when people can't react to you. Mm-hmm. And this is another thing you can do as your action to delay your turn in that way. And so that definitely mixed things up as well. Another player had a bit of an sort of an okie doke, where we thought he was done, and then we realized, that's right, he had 10 tokens there. He spent an action to trade those in, and then he was able to stay in the game long enough that he was able to get more resources and stuff and keep going. It was a big play, and so that version of the game is so different that
sounds wild.
If you play a lot of Twilight Imperium and you want to shake things up, absolutely give it a try. It might not be for you, but it's worth trying for sure.
Sometimes I enjoy organizing my games just as much as actually playing them. I know it sounds crazy, but I know I'm not alone here. I also love blinging out my favorite games with upgrades and accessories that not only look good and feel good, but they also speed up setup and teardown time. Visit BoardGameGeekStore.com for premium gaming accessories and upgrades like bags and bowls in a variety of colors and sizes, deck boxes, sleeves, card holders, and more. And when I say more, you know I'm talking about those shiny, beautiful Geek Up bits, which are available for a bunch of different games, including our best-selling Quacks Geek Up bits. I can't think of a more luxurious way to brew potions. So treat yourself and your games to some new goodies from the BGG store at BoardGameGeekStore.com. That sounds cool. And you said 4 rounds, so about how long? How many hours were you guys playing?
I will say that the people that I play with, these 2 people specifically, are the slowest turn takers I know. So it did take 8 hours. But normally when we play a 6-player game, and without doing that, we go 12 hours. So it was still a faster game.
Yeah. That's cool. Wow. Yeah, that sounds really fun. I love when modules or variants kind of shake things up like that and force you to kind of play differently, because not only are you probably going to be like more offensive, but then you got to watch other people watch your back and everything.
Absolutely, yeah. And the thing I really love about it is that it's a free like mini expansion that they put out. So if you have the base game, you do need the expansion for
Prophecy
this.
of Kings,
you need Prophecy of Kings for this. But if you have those, why not just give it a try?
I will.
Yeah.
I will.
Good.
I will.
I was directing that at you, Candace. Why don't you give it a try?
I actually have not experimented with any of the extra stuff. Like I have the base game and the expansion, but that is a good idea. That sounds really, really fun. It also reminds me that about a year ago, maybe a year ago or so, I got components together for someone made a Twilight Imperium variant for Gaia Project.
Interesting.
Yes, where you take, like, basically they took all the main factions from TI4 and they made them into, like, Gaia Project factions, and there's some, like, rules tweaks, like, there's some, like, trading you can do, and they're, like, from the ones that I looked at, I mean, I've looked at them all, they're all, like, very thematic to, like, how they play in TI4, and I've been wanting to do it forever, and you're making me now want to do that, because that'll be easier to get to the table.
That's fair.
Than TI4.
That is fair, yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's Twilight Imperium with the newest codex. What do they call the codex?
There is a name for the codex, I'm pretty sure, but I don't remember what it is. Codex number 4.
Okay, codex number 4. Yeah. We'll call it that, and I'll link it in the show notes, hopefully, if I can find it.
Yeah. I was just remembering I didn't do any of the things that I prepped. It was like, this game is designed by Christian Peterson, Dave Beltrami, Corey Koenigsted. It was proposed in 2017. It's 3 to 6 players. I'm so good at being a guest on a podcast, you guys. Everyone, please invite me.
You're totally nailing it. So, I played a game last weekend that I have been wanting to play for a while. When I was at Essen like 2 years ago, we went to Amsterdam and visited the Netherlands before that and had the opportunity to go over David Turtzi and Norley's house. Ooh. And play some games, have some food. And then we also talked about the Defence of Procyon III.
Oh, this game seems so interesting. I want to try it.
I always thought it seemed interesting. Maybe like Monique and Naveen's video was maybe when I was like, oh, that game. Or maybe my friend Jordan. I don't remember. It kind of fell on my radar and it was like, that sounds cool. But then I forgot about it. But I was with David and he had a copy and he offered to send me home with it. Now this is a big box and I was traveling to Essen.
Yeah.
So it took some premium suitcase space, but let me tell you, now that I've finally played it, that it was totally worth it.
Oof.
Yeah, this is Defence of Procyon III is a 4-player 2v2. You can play, I think there's a solo variant, and you can also play it 2 players.
Sure.
But it's basically, I feel like David Turtzi's game that's themed like Starship Troopers.
Okay. Yeah.
And I don't, I've probably seen that movie. I don't know. But
it's a good movie. I mean, it's a bad movie, but it's a good movie.
Matt loves it. I'm like, yeah, whatever.
That's fair. It's not for everybody, but
the cool thing about this game is that when you play with 4 players, it's teams. And you have one team that's pretty much like the 2 alien factions, and then you have one team that's the human factions. And then within your team, one player is going to be controlling units and doing stuff on the ground. The other one is going to be fighting in space. So you have this very like cinematic feeling, like if you think of like Star Wars movies where like they'll cut to like, oh, action in space, and then they'll do that little transition thing, and next thing you know, they're in the ground. And...
I mean, yeah, it's like Return of the Jedi. You know, they're doing their space battle, and then they go down to Endor, and they've got the Exactly. So this is pretty much Return of the Jedi, the game. And so it sounds like it's very asymmetrical.
That is it. Good lead in there.
So good at podcasts, you guys.
Such a great guest. Everybody should invite Shea.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I mean, people are saying best guest in the West?
This is like subliminal messaging we're putting in right now.
The best subliminal messaging is when you call out the subliminal messaging.
Oh, yeah. Because then everyone knows it's subliminal.
Yeah.
They feel special
That's
hearing
true.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Vote for Shea. But anyway, so each player has like their faction, whether you're on the human side or the human team or the alien team, your faction plays completely differently than every other faction. And it's so neat. And I was kind of like intimidated by it because like I've never played Vast, but like I knew it was going to be like highly asymmetrical.
Sure.
And so I went with the method that David Terzi, I think he posted on BGG about how you should learn this game and / teach this game. Yeah. And you don't teach this game. One person should kind of like, read all the rules, but then you have people show up and each role has its own rule book that gives you everything you need to know about like what components you use, what your motivations are, what the player you're playing against is going to be trying to do, what your teammate can do to help you, and how you can like work together and things to consider and everything. And so it was like, read the book, give each player their booklet. And we all, like, for the most part, like, studied before we sat down at the table.
Sure.
But even, like, from a first game, there were 3 brand new players to this game and one that had played one game a while ago. And we took some slow turns just because we're, like, thinking through. But it still only took 3 hours, and it feels like an epic game. Yeah. So I was, like, the expedition faction, the humans that are on the ground, and let me tell you, there was like so much tension. It kind of like felt like basically I'm trying to get these scientist tokens. I'm trying to get them out into space so that my partner can in space take them and like evacuate them.
Okay.
So it's like a multi-step process, but the scientists are spread all around and the alien person who's on the ground is trying to like basically kill them and eat them.
Like you do,
like they do. Yeah. So like, which helps them spawn more of their little alien people on the board. Combat for me, now I'm trying to think of how combat worked. No dice. So I'll just talk about how my faction played. So when it was my turn, I have a hand of cards. So I have my own deck of cards called Tactics. I have 4 like hero characters that have their own special abilities. And then I have a bunch of like units that are either Marines or like militia, and they're just tan and green dudes on the map or whatever. Yeah. But the Marines actually, like when they're gone. They're out of the game. Whereas the militia soldiers can like respawn. It's not easy to do, but
sure.
But basically at the start of my turn, I would get to play one of my cards to activate one of my 4 heroes.
Okay.
And when I do that, I use the effect on the card that I play that's like in the text box, the effect box. And then I put a token on the character, the hero that I'm activating, and that card goes out of the game. Okay? So that card goes out of the game, but I've activated one of my heroes. Now, during the second phase of my turn, I can use my hero's effect, like special ability, but I also can play up to 2 cards from my hand using just the icons that are on the left. It's basically action points. Okay. So I'm either getting momentum or I'm getting, I want to say power or something. Yeah. Like basically there's some other icon that lets me use one of my buildings. So I have buildings out there that let me do cool stuff. And the aliens are trying to destroy my buildings, of course. Trying to eat my scientists and all that stuff.
Aliens always trying to eat the scientists. Tale as old as time.
But then Tim, who is on the alien side on the ground, he had this whole thing where, number one, he has a bag. So for combat, there's a bag where he has a bunch of black cubes, and then he's got these white Discord cubes. And I'm trying to feed more Discord into his bag because when he attacks me, he gets to pull a number of cubes out of the bag based on how many, like half of the amount of his units that he's attacking with.
Yeah.
And so the more white cubes I can get into that bag to dilute his attacks is great.
So those are like misses. If he pulls a white cube, that's a miss.
Correct. And each time he attacks, let's say he pulls out, he's able to pull 4 cubes or 3 blacks and 1 white. Mm-hmm. A black one always comes out. So yeah, black one comes out. So his bag is like thinning, like he has ways to get more in there. But then he had this like player board where he would play cards and then he could activate, like it's like there are 2 sections on it. So you could play a card to do something powerful. And I forget what the thing was called, but anyways, his was cool. And then you got the guys in space.
Yeah.
And they're doing stuff like I'm trying to get echo drones from Jordan so that I could spend them to do cool stuff.
So this is the thing I find interesting about it is the interplay between the teammates. Because I totally understand how you can have a game where that's the people on the ground fighting each other, people in space fighting each other, but also making it interesting for you to interact with each other.
Yes.
Is it a balance of I want to protect to work on my own theater of war versus I want to help my partner? Do you have to like balance like doing one versus the other, or does everything kind of feed together?
So my interaction with my partner were like there were 2 bits. One was me again trying to move these scientists to what is that? Like whatever my central place where I can like launch them into space.
Sure, your
and then from there, from there they end up in like orbit, right? And then he has to go pick them up. If he does not pick them up on the next turn, they like explode. And then they're
just in space. Like they're just floating there.
And then he has another thing he has to do to like move them out so they don't burn up and then like move them somewhere so then they come off the board. Because one of the ways the game can end automatically is if the aliens are able to kill 10 scientists. Every time they kill a scientist, you put their little token, circular cardboard token, on this track. And the more they kill, they start like diminishing our points. Okay. And I guess I didn't even say it. Yeah, like how do you win the game?
I was going to ask, yeah.
I'm a great host, aren't I?
We're killing it today.
Well, you either want to have the most victory points, but the aliens have 2 ways, I think, that they can auto-win. And one is if they end up killing 10 scientists. So there's like some pressure for us to make sure. And I think there are like 14 that come on the board.
Sure.
So you are trying to like save them, but you're also like you're fighting little battles everywhere and, you know, making sure you're defending stuff so that so the aliens can't blow up my buildings so I can use them. And the other bit of interaction with my teammate was we shared a resource called echo drones.
Okay.
And basically he can do more generating them than I could, but we both could spend them to do different things.
Got it.
And so it would be like, hey, do you need some drones? Like, yeah, because he could play a card that's going to give us 3 new echo drones or whatever. Yeah. It's fascinating too because I want to play on one of the space sides next time. Because I feel like I didn't fully grasp what they were doing.
Sure, yeah. I mean, it's kind of like Root, it sounds like, where you need to try multiple different roles to really get a full sense of everything that happens.
Yeah, and then the alien space player, Steven, he had dice. So he has these like custom dice, and he's using dice, the ones that have blanks. I don't even know. I have no idea, but he was doing stuff, and I know Tim was interacting with him, and he was able to help him replenish his dice pool, change a die to, like, whatever side he wants. So they're just enough cool team synergies, but everyone, all 4 of us were like, that was a blast, and, like, we want to play it more. And again, like, I thought the rules were going to be really tough. But they're not. I mean, it's asymmetric, right? Like,
sure, yeah.
But
there's a lot of rules, but the individual rules themselves are not that complicated.
Yeah, and I think in my head, I came in expecting it because it's David Turtzi also.
Sure, yeah.
But it really, really is smooth. Like the player aids, like the booklets, everything is like really, really well done. And like yeah, like the text on the cards, like once we got rolling, it was like, oh, one thing that I thought about that I was like, this could have been a clunky moment, like complexity for the sake of complexity. Yeah. But I liked that even though my little scientists are cardboard tokens and not like plastic minis, like all my other characters, they could move on their own. So if I can move a unit, I can just move one of them. I don't need to like make sure they're with the Marine and then move them together. Because I've played, there's some game like that where, probably multiple, where you have to like, you need to carry somebody essentially. And I was like, I love that they didn't do it.
I mean, War of the Ring does that, I think. Or is it War of the Ring or is it Dune War for Arrakis, where like the leaders need to be supported by the military units?
Yeah.
War of the Ring does that, where basic leaders can't exist on their own.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
mean, like, speaking of games that are excellent, like that is still a frustrating rule. So I get what you're saying.
So I was like, that's just so pleasant, like everything. But I will say, if you're gonna get this game, if you're gonna play this game, do not try to do a full teach, because it seems like most of the people who are like, oh, I don't like that game, or you have a bad experience, it's because like one person was like, I'm gonna do a teach, like we do for a lot of games. But like this one, you want to have somebody who's read all the rules, and like the main rule book is not much. There's actually not much to it. It's more about those faction booklets, and it's really, really good. I can't wait to play it more. Yeah, now that I realize it's not like anything crazy, and it might be my favorite David Turtsey game.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, hot take.
Yeah.
I am into team games lately too, though.
I'm sold. It sounds so interesting. I really want to try it.
We'll play it. I'm gonna paint the minis at some point too.
Nice.
I already printed a insert for it, and so I'm trying to play that. So that is the Defense of Procyon III, and thanks again, David, for hooking me up with a copy. That was like, and I'm finally playing it. What else have you been playing, Shea?
So a game I've played recently, now this game I don't think has officially come out yet. It might actually be coming out at Gen Con, is Vantage. This is by Stonemaier Games, Jamie Stegmaier design, and this is the kind of game that I'm always fascinated by. I'm always interested in trying a game that is so storytelling focused, because what happens in Vantage is you are playing as a group of scientists, space explorers who have been kind of lured to an alien planet by an enigmatic figure called the Traveler. And you get to that planet and immediately your ship malfunctions and you all jump into escape pods and land at different places on the planet.
Ooh.
And then you have some kind of mission that is sort of randomly distributed. So in the game that I just played, I was doing a 3-player game, and our mission was, I think it was literally like to become our best self. So each of us is playing as a different character. So I was just like the captain, but we also had the Marine and the scientist. And each of us is a little bit better at certain skills, but it's kind of just, this is our identity.
Gotcha.
So there are a number of different like upgrades that you can get for your cards. You swap out your card for something else. And so our mission was to upgrade our character and then fill it full of these boost tokens, just little cubes that you can put on your card that power certain abilities.
Nice.
So that was our basic mission. But the thing is, like I said, we all go to different areas of the planet, and we don't have to find each other, but it can be useful if you do that. Thing is, that's extremely difficult to do, because you don't really know where each other are. And what I think is maybe the most interesting thing about this game is what you see when you're playing the game is a like tarot-sized card, horizontal, and it is literally your vantage point. It is what you see. And
cool.
You don't show that to other players.
Oh.
You just describe it. So I might be at this, like, so we land and I'm saying, okay, I'm in a meadow. I see mountains in the distance. It's sunset. And there are these 3 pillars that I can see. And they have these strange green markings. And there's this like crystalline flying creature of some kind that I can see in the distance. And then on the right side of my card, it will have 6 different actions. Usually it has 6 because there are 6 different skills in the game.
Okay, gotcha.
And so the 6 different skills, I don't remember exactly what they are, but they're like move, look, engage, take, fight, or something like that. Those are like the broad terms, but then the individual cards will say variations on that. So maybe instead of move, it's climb or wade or like trudge or something like that. Like,
Gotcha.
It depends on where you are. Squeeze. I encountered the term squeeze a lot because there was always tight spaces. I had it was like caves and stuff that I ended up exploring. And so everyone has their own thing, and you can talk to each other about what you have. You can help each other out by spending little tokens to improve the different skill checks, essentially, that people have to do. But I think that I really like about this game is you never have to worry about failing a skill check. If you choose to do something, you will do it. But there is the problem of like how much time it takes. How difficult is this activity?
Yeah.
So I might say that I want to, lure that flying, crystal moth thing.
Yeah.
And so then there are a bunch of different like storybooks. And so one of my other players will take the appropriate storybook for that action, will find the passage, and will say, he'll read out, lure the beast closer to you with some food. And then he'll say like 3. And what that means is I'm rolling 3 dice, and I can spend tokens or use skills to reduce the amount of dice I roll because half of these die faces are going to hurt me in some way, either hurting my health, my morale, or my time. And that's like a track that we have.
That's cool. That's a cool way to do skill checks.
Exactly, yeah. So like you're gonna do it. The only question is, does it hurt you so much that your health goes down to like 0 or something? And even that's not guaranteed to be the end of the game. But it might be. But regardless, you'll have to deal with it. And there are a number of ways to deal with bad rolls. And then so I lure the beast, and then I roll the dice. Maybe I lose a little bit of health or something like that, but most of the dice will then go away to a spent pool. And then I get the result. And the result is something like, you lure this down, and now the beast is helping you out. And so you get a card, and you add that to your tableau, and that card is saying, like, I found a crystal moth.
Oh, cool.
And this moth is helping me scout nearby locations, or it helps me with my look checks or something like that. And everyone is doing this kind of thing and is experiencing something completely different.
That's so cool.
So the storytelling elements of this, I think, are absolutely incredible, with a slight caveat.
Okay.
There will happen sometimes.
Squeeze in a caveat?
Yeah, a little bit. What will occasionally happen, so you'll have your mission from the start, and that, like I said, our mission was become the best we can be. And then you might also get a destiny, which is like a second mission. And if you complete either of them, you win. But if you want what the game calls an epic victory, you want to complete both of them. So we were trying to do that.
Of course.
And the epic victory for me was, I found a broken ship, and I just started to repair it. And that was difficult. And I got a partially functioning spaceship, and that gave us the destiny, which was fully repair your ship and then leave with it.
Gotcha.
So now we have these 2 missions that we're doing, and that was great because in the ship I also found some power armor, and that power armor gave me an upgraded version of myself.
Nice.
So we were all working together, but that was a lot of stuff that I was doing. And then the other players, they had their own stories, but they weren't quite connected to that.
Gotcha.
And because of that, one player especially had a cool story. It just wasn't related at all to what ended the game for us.
And so, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, so the gameplay of it is excellent. If you like storytelling games, absolutely take a look at this game. It's really, really cool. Just know that the ending of it can be a little bit anticlimactic.
And it's not a campaign from what I heard, but like what you discover and how you change things on the planet, like they kind of snowball forward, right?
So what I've found in the games that I've played is that what you gain mostly is knowledge. It is more like a roguelike game in that way, where you're always starting from square one. So you're right, it's not a campaign game. But you do occasionally encounter things that maybe you've seen before, or eventually at certain points you might get a zoomed out view of your location or a full map of the planet, and knowing that tends to be interesting. So like maybe you see something in the distance and you're like, in a previous game I went there. And another thing that's important to mention is when you do certain actions in locations, you only get one. So if I lured that crystal moth to me, I can't fight it. I can't try to trick it. I can't, run away from it or do any of the other options that were available.
Gotcha.
So you might think like, well, last time it worked out this way. I'm going to try a different thing.
Gotcha.
If you even encounter the same locations, there are almost 2,000 cards in this game. Now, most of those are items that you can get or skills or people that you encounter. Wow. And I'd say about, I think it's 800 locations, but that's 400 like double-sided cards. So there's a ton of stuff in this game. So like I have not encountered the same thing twice, and I've played this about 4 times now.
Wow.
So it's really, really interesting what they've been able to put forward with this, and it's so fascinating just experiencing the game.
Which player counts have you tried?
I've played it solo, I've played it 2-player, and I just played it 3-player for the first time. And I really liked it 2-player, and I thought that solo works just fine, but you don't have your friends can't help you.
Yeah.
I think higher than 3 players, it gets a little bit slower. You probably have a lot more waiting between turns. I do think it goes to 6, but I don't know if I would want to play it at least. I think 4 for me would probably be the max.
Yeah.
Because I think that would just make it even more likely that certain players are going to just not be connected to the broader story, or they're just going to have maybe a less eventful time with it. And so I'd say it's a low player count game. I think 2 or 3 is probably the sweet spot.
But what if you play with 6 and then the vantage points merge more?
This is true. You are more likely to encounter each other at that point. Because we haven't done that.
Yeah.
I got close to being able to find the other people in the last game that I played, but we'd never actually found each other. And that is a different way to play the game. There's also I know for a fact there's things that I haven't seen. I mean, obviously, just a number of cards, but there's like a packet of cards that says that has what is it called? Spoilers, or like packet of secrets or something like that.
Gotcha.
Something needs to happen that I unlock those cards. I have no idea what that is.
That's exciting.
Yeah, there's so much to this game.
Cool. All right, awesome. I gotta play it. It's Vantage.
Yeah, it is cool.
New one from Stonemeyer and Jamie Stegmeyer's
design, yeah.
Because he hasn't done anything since Tapestry on his own, right?
I think you're right. I mean, I know he's the designer for this one.
Yeah. That's what I'm like. I think
he must
this
have been
is
working
his
on it
first
for a
big
while.
Game. Yeah. Close to 2,000 cards. Yeah. Wow.
It's
cool.
wild just how much there is in this game.
Awesome. Well, the next game I'm going to mention is a game that we just played together, and it's a new game called Spooktacular.
Ooh.
This, I got a copy sent to me from Level 99. I think this was crowdfunded, and it's just either delivering now, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be available at Gen Con for the first time. This is designed by Brad Talton Jr., who is the same designer as Millennium Blades.
I want to try that.
I know.
Millennium
Blades is such a cool, unique game. It's a game all about buying and selling cards.
It's a game about being a collectible card game player. It's such a weird design idea, and I so want to try it, but it's one of those games that I just I keep missing it. At cons,
Well, hopefully you get to play it one day at a PlayCon or something with somebody who can teach it.
Mm-hmm.
But I was very curious to try Spooktacular, even though I know it's they're very different animals.
Sure.
That's fun sometimes seeing what a designer who has maybe one big popular game and then they do something completely different. And Brad has other games like Pixel Tactics, and I think he's designed the BattleCon games that Level 99 has, but I haven't played any of those. But this one, it plays with 1 to 5 players, and it's takes place in 1986 in like, what was it, on Halloween?
Yeah.
And there's a movie theater that's having a horror film festival, like where basically they're just playing.
And it's like a closed movie theater.
Oh, yeah.
And they're reopening for one night only.
One night only. And guess what? Monsters popped out of the screen.
Wouldn't you know it?
All the screens, too.
Yeah.
Because this game has 20 different asymmetric monsters from, like, different monster movies. And I think, like, that's one of the things that I think is, like, really, really, like, kind of charming about this game is that each monster that you can be, like, the players are going to be these monsters, and we're going to be scaring these, like, different color meeples in and out of different theaters and rooms and everything, and trying to get points that way, and then also eating them, of course, devouring.
Well, you were trying to eat them. I was trying to run them over because I was a car.
Yeah, well, I forget what, I was like this rocker. I forget the name of my character. It was like Death Slayer or something like that.
Sounds about right, yeah.
But yeah, there's like 20 different, they're very, like, the art is really cool. They're thematic. We were kind of like looking through, because we only played this once. We were looking through a bunch of the other factions or monsters to kind of see what else there is in there. And they're, like, some of them have some similarities, but they're all kind of like different animals.
Yeah, I feel like if we played this again, it would be a different experience. But you want to talk about our specific factions or monsters? Yeah.
Yeah. And even before that, I'll just say, like, so picture the game board has like different rooms. Most of them are like, they look like busted old movie theaters, like with seats, and there's like
very
a screen.
Decrepit.
Yeah. And at the beginning of the game, you're going to seed each room with a number of meeples. There are 5 different color little meeples that are in a bag.
Just your average moviegoers.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got the kids. You've got the adults. You've got the teens.
A little bit of everything, you know?
You've got the movie
Everybody
snobs.
wants to see these horror movies.
Yeah, I don't know if that's actually what these colors represent, but that was my headcanon. Yeah.
But then you pretty much just, like, everybody is going to get a like 5 basic cards that are the same. And then each monster has its own player board and has its own unique cards, which you'll shuffle in with these basic cards. Mm-hmm. And in addition to that, most of the monsters, I think all but one, have like a cool little unique ability that could be triggered when you play. Like, I had a mosh ability.
Yeah.
And what was yours?
So mine, I was picking up passengers.
Because he's a killer car.
Exactly. So the gameplay of it was pretty straightforward, pretty basic in a sense.
Very
easy to learn for sure. It's just on your turn, you're playing a card, and these cards will maybe like help you devour the different moviegoers. And if you get a set of 5 different colors, you can trade those in for like a special movie ticket, which is worth points, but you don't know how many points until the end.
Yeah.
Or you can scare them, which sends them all into adjacent rooms, and you get points for doing that. But each of us has our own thing. So I would pick up passengers, and so I would take a passenger or a moviegoer of a color that I don't have, place it on my board, and that gives me a special ability. Minor things like I get to move to a different room, or I get to move and devour, or I could scare something, or I can steal points from other players if they're in my room. And then if I fill up my car, then I get a absolute feast, and it's as if I had turned in 5 different ones for the same ability.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
Whereas you were moshing.
Yeah. So anytime I turned in a set of meeples, all 5 colors, I got to trigger my mosh ability, which lets me add 5 guests, these little meeples, into the room. And then I think, was I able to scare?
Then you spook them.
Yeah,
right?
I spook them. And then I was able to do a spook, and I can't remember if it was once or twice. But again, like, spooking is when you like basically scare them out of the room you're in, and you get a point for each one that goes through a different door.
Yeah.
And so that was really cool. And, you know, the game, like, I feel like we played a 3-player game, and we were like kind of like neck and neck, but Shea was like getting ahead on the tickets, and it was making me scared.
I had a really good ability to acquire, like, both to devour, but also pick up the passengers. So I was getting more tickets than anybody else. So I thought I was going to win.
And you almost did.
I almost did, but those tickets, like I said, you don't know how much they're worth until the end. So I did get a lot of points from them, but I had lower value tickets than the ones that you got.
Yeah, I actually only had one ticket. Because remember, the second one was out. There are going to be 2 tickets per player.
Right. And so the end game was triggered when we ran out of tickets, and then we, finished up the round, and you would have gotten another ticket, but that was just worth
So I got 5 points. Yeah, because we were...
but then your other ticket was worth 8, whereas all of mine were 5, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
So you snuck it out just 1 point ahead of me.
1 point ahead. But it's a very light game, and I think the fun is going to be like exploring the interactions with the different monsters. And I think it took us like 30 minutes maybe to play.
It was a quick game for sure, yeah. And I definitely agree that finding playing with a bunch of different monsters every time you play, because there are so many, you are absolutely going to be able to have different experiences. I mean, like we said, some of them I think are more interesting than others.
Sure.
The other person we were playing with, the Terror from Below or something like that, it was their monster, and it was, I think, probably one of the ones they recommend you start with because it's very basic. It just didn't really have a special ability. But you got to,
well, I guess the card played, but it didn't happen every time.
You got to play 2 cards per round as opposed to 1 card per round, which is effective.
But some cards let you play cards.
Some cards let you play more cards, yeah. But then we looked at the others, and every single other one had some wild ability. Like there was a team of werewolves that would actually have you putting out 4 different characters instead of just 1, and they each had different specialties.
There's like a scary chef that has these different gross dishes. And that chef is going to like drop the dishes in different rooms. And when another player's monster is in the room, the chef will serve them up and it does something.
Yeah. I've definitely played worse like campy horror games.
Yeah.
And I know some people who love campy horror, and I think this is going to be a big hit for them.
Yeah.
Like if that's your genre, absolutely take a look at this. It's really, really cool.
Easy to get into. Yeah. And just like everything is like, okay, we move. We spook, and then you have your we eat, you're manipulating these meeples and each other on the board, and it's really, really light. Like, I'm going to play it more and try some of the different factions. I also am curious to see, like, how wacky it'll get. It goes up to 5.
Oh, yeah, I could see it being a little, like you said, a little wacky, because we did have powers that interacted with each other if we were in the same place.
My points got stolen.
Yeah. But that didn't happen that often because, it's not a huge map, but we were able to kind of stay away from each other once we knew that we could steal each other's points.
Yeah.
But if you're playing 5-player, like, you're gonna be in the same room as people.
Yep. And you're trying to, like, position yourself to get the completed sets. Mm-hmm. I don't know if we just had a really easy time of getting those tickets, but yeah, it only took us like 30 minutes.
This is true. I mean, maybe it's because the basic monsters that we were playing as allowed us to do those things pretty easily, and it could be that the other ones maybe are a little bit harder. But I think that the point of the game, it is
meant to be like just 45 minutes or less, probably.
It doesn't overstay its welcome. It's a really good, like, quick game.
Yep, quick to teach, quick to play. So that's Spooktacular. So Gen Con, Shea.
Gen Con.
Have you been before?
I've been a couple of times. I went...
Oh, yeah, you said it was over, like you were saying you don't like it.
A little overstimulating, but so weirdly, the first time I went was in 2021. It was the first, like, one that they did...
In September? When it was in September?
I think so, yeah. It was the one, it was like first after COVID hit that they opened up. And so that was the first one I ever went to, and everyone was like, that wasn't real Gen Con.
Same here. That was my first Gen Con.
So it was a lot less crowded, and I didn't mind it. And then I went again in 2023, and I think that was more of the full experience. And don't get me wrong, I can handle like a crowded space. I used to go to Comic-Con. Like, I went to Comic-Con every year for almost a decade, and it is a similar experience in terms of the massiveness, the mass of the event. So there's a lot going on. And if you are looking for those new releases, if you want to get demos of upcoming games, that's the place to do it. For a person who just wants to play games, or on the other side, as a content creator, wants to have meetings with publishers, it's not exactly ideal for me. So
chaos.
Yeah.
Pure chaos.
It's absolutely that. So it's not a con that I'm going to be going to every year. I'll probably go to it again, maybe next year or the year after. But I'd say for me, once every few years.
Yeah, I feel the same way. So yeah, I went for the first time in 2021 with the first one post-pandemic. I think I've gone every year since, and it is always a great time, but it's like one of those trips where you like need a vacation from your quote unquote vacation, because it's just so much to soak in, and it's exciting, and you see cool games, you see cool people, you meet, there's so much going on. So I look forward to seeing all that stuff next year.
Yeah, exactly.
Getting all that excitement. But I did check out the preview list because I knew we were going to talk about, just checking out, see what's coming at Gen Con that looks exciting. And of course, nowadays, sometimes things might be available early at Gen Con that are coming out in September or even at Essen. Sometimes they have some things early, and there's some games that are coming out in July that are still considered Gen Con releases. So I'm gonna let you get started with your number 10.
Sure thing. So my number 10 is Above and Below Haunted. This is by Red Raven Games, designed by Ryan Laukat, plays 2 to 4, and this is a sequel to Above and Below, which came out, I want to say 10 years ago at this point. I don't know exactly.
Never played it, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, so I was talking about Vantage. This is another storytelling game. And I really liked Above and Below when I first played it. It's a combination of storytelling and city building, kind of a tableau card game.
Cool.
And so you're building your buildings, but then you're also exploring in these caves and going through little different story passages, kind of random events and stuff like that. And so I really liked that. But the reason this is at the bottom of my list is I kind of outgrew Above and Below.
Gotcha.
And so I am curious I do know that they are adding stuff to this. I know that there's 2 different levels of depths for the caves that you go to, which means that some of them are going to be a little easier, some of them are going to be a little harder. I like that you have those options. I know that there's ghosts in this which can haunt your buildings and affect them in that way. So I'm curious about it because I want to see how much they add to it.
Gotcha.
And if they make it, if they add enough to it, then that would probably get me back to at least trying it again.
Cool. Yeah, I've never played it, but I do love me some story games lately.
Yeah.
And is that Ryan's the same one that does Sleeping Gods?
Yes.
Yeah, and he does all the art too, right?
Yeah. It's like
so
a one-man band. But and Near and Far as well. And Islebound, I think. There's a few.
Yeah,
they have a very distinct style, which I personally really, really like.
Yeah.
Visually, anyway. Yeah. I haven't tried a lot of the other games, but Above and Below Haunted.
Haunted. Not to be confused with Spooktacular.
Correct, yeah.
Even though we're talking about Halloween-ish games.
Yeah. Well, I just decided to merge. We got a storytelling game, we got a Halloween game.
Love it.
2 great tastes that taste great together.
And then guess what game I'm going to bring up?
Oh, what you got?
Well, first, before I say it, I have some gaps in my list. So I feel like my number 5 through 1 are solid, but the rest is going to be a little loosey-goosey.
100%.
Okay.
The same.
So my number 10 is exactly what you would think to play on Halloween or when you want to tell a story, and it's Diplomacy, Era of Empire.
I can think of nothing scarier.
I've actually never played Diplomacy.
I haven't either.
Okay.
It is definitely one of those games that I should try it at some point, but...
So I guess there was a version of Diplomacy called Colonial Diplomacy, and...
Sounds unproblematic.
Yeah, not problematic at all. But maybe that's why they decided to do a re-implementation.
Yeah, sure.
But now this one is called Era of Empire. And I think what I read is that it's a standalone game and it's good for new players and experienced players. And they did a lot to fix the map balancing. And I guess they had 3 pages of errata that came out of the old game, and so they streamlined some things to make it cleaner. So I feel like if I'm gonna actually try Diplomacy, maybe this new refresh version will be cool.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I mean, that sounds interesting enough to me.
All right, looks like we have Halloween plans together.
Perfect.
So that's Diplomacy, Era of Empire.
All right. My number 9 is Galileo Galilei.
Nice.
This seems really interesting. It might have just come out. I'm not sure.
It came out at Essen, but I think it's just coming to the U.S. through Capstone, right?
Got it. Yeah, Capstone Games, designed by Tomas Holek, I think. 1 to 4. Now, so this is a heavy Euro game about discovering planets, about early astronomy, or I should say early, like, telescope astronomy. Because we've been looking at the stars for a while. But what seemed interesting to me, this has, like, a rondel system for choosing your actions, but the actions you choose can be upgraded. And so that element of it seemed kind of cool. And then on top of that, I like that they really connect to the theme of the game, or the setting of the game, because there are Inquisitors. Which, like, you know, the study of the stars could brushed up against heresy at the time, in Europe anyway. And so the idea that Inquisitors are knocking on your door, making sure you're not being too heretical with your science, I think that's really interesting. So I'd be curious to see how that plays out in that game.
I brought back a copy of Galileo Galilei from Essen.
Okay.
That is one of my games that I have not played yet.
Oh.
Hence the reason I'm not going to Gen Con, because I do want to play it. I think I just, like, haven't been playing Euro games as much.
Sure.
But yeah, I do want to play it. I've heard, like, from lots of people who play it, like, some like it more than others. Like, some are more like, yeah, you, like, after playing it a couple times, you're good. But the cool thing is, because this is the same designer who created SETI. And I don't know if you played SETI.
I've only played it once, but I really like it.
Yes. Yeah, me too. And so SETI is a heavier game than Galileo, but the designer, Tomas Holek, I knew how to pronounce his name a year ago, but anyways, he is very into astronomy and space and everything. So it's like both those games are like, there's a lot of love and research and passion that went into them, and they're very different. And I'm still, like, excited to play Galileo at some point.
Yeah.
But that's cool. All right, now we get into fuzziness. So I'm just going to say that my number 9 is going to be Luthier.
Yeah.
Could that be on your list?
It might be.
I just saw a reaction. Luthier, I forget, I did not note who the designer is, but it's the same company.
Let's see if I just maybe remember it off the top of my head. Dave Beck and Abe Burson.
That's right. There we go. Yeah. There we go. Patterson Games?
Patterson Games.
Yes. And Patterson Games is all about Euros that are, like, very thematic and with very unique themes, because they also created Distill.
Yes.
Which I haven't played yet, but that's on my shelf of opportunity.
Yeah.
Pile 1 of opportunity.
Yeah. Distilled is very cool. I've had a chance to play Luthier. Or Luthier, if you're American, which I am. Yeah, I know, it's shocking. I got a chance to play it when they were doing their crowdfunding campaign, and quite enjoyed it.
Cool.
And
yes.
I liked Distilled. I really like Luthier.
Yeah.
And then there was another game that they're demoing at Gen Con, which was originally on my list until I realized, this is just a demo. It's not for sale.
What is it?
I think it's called Class of '89. It's about putting together a yearbook.
Oh, cool.
It seemed really interesting.
That's super cool.
Yeah, so I've liked what Patterson Games has put out, so I'm excited to see what comes forth. And I know from experience, Luthier is really fun. Yeah,
awesome. Yeah, I remember, like, I got a demo of it at some point. And I know it's like it's old timey, like where you're making instruments.
Yes.
And I like anything music related I'm going to be into, but there's like some hidden like worker placement.
So it is a
something.
Worker placement game, but you're bidding for the order in which you are placing your workers. And the order is important. So if because you can like block stuff off. I don't remember exactly how it was, but I think you can block off locations. And there's a lot of different things you can do. It's a I'd hesitate to call it point salad in this way, but there's tons of different things you can do to earn points.
Gotcha.
You can, you make your instruments, you sell them. You have patrons that want specific things. You when you sell instruments or you put instruments into like an orchestra, there's this orchestra board where each specific instrument can go into a different place. All kinds of different stuff. There's a lot you can do, but the bidding or the like hidden auction kind of thing, or I don't know exactly what you'd call it, but the bidding for your place in line, that really made it an interesting action selection system for that.
Yeah, that is exactly what I'm excited about. I love the theme. Even though I haven't played Distilled, like I'm very well versed in what it does, and I'm excited about it. You know, like I love that they're doing these thematic Euros.
Yeah.
So and you know, I'm saying number 9, but like it might have been number 4. I don't know. Like this is all very loose.
Yeah, my 1 to 5 is pretty. Anything could have been anywhere.
Yeah.
Or sorry, my 10 to 6, I should say.
Okay, gotcha.
And then like 1 to 5 is kind of organized in what I'm actually like excited or ordered in that way. But honestly, all of these seem interesting enough.
Cool. Well, let's jump to your 8.
Yeah, my number 8 is Transgalactica.
Nice.
This is by Daniel Tassini, DeVere Games. I think it's 2 to 5 players. And what, honestly, and this is going to come up quite a few times during this list, what really struck me about this game is the art design. Because this has this really interesting science fiction art design of it. It's a little hard to describe. It's almost like psychedelic in a way. And so the game itself, I'll admit, I don't know a whole lot about it. I know that it's a sci-fi game. You are each different like science fiction or like alien factions.
Okay.
But it has a worker placement element to it. But when you take actions, other players get to follow. And it reminded me a little bit of Race for the Galaxy from what I read about it.
Cool.
You know, it's one player taking an action which allows everyone to take a limited version of that action. So I guess, didn't Earth do that too? Similar kind of a thing?
Yes.
Yeah. I like that kind of engine building
when everybody's kind of involved or can be.
Yeah, I like it when one player takes a turn, everyone cares about what they're doing. And this is, I think, is a really good way of doing that. So it's definitely enough for me to be interested enough to try it.
I think the next one, the next one that's going to be on my list is a game called Helsing.
I mean, I'm sold.
I know. So apparently there's a book called Helsing. So this is IP world stuff here. But this is an adventure cooperative game. I've been like super into all types of adventure games, and this one just seemed cute. Like I like the art. I love the fact that it is a book. But the tag says 2 pigs, a werewolf, and a vampiric boar team up to save Mud Canyon. And there's a graphic novel about a reluctant monster hunting pig, Helsing. So it's a cooperative adventure board game by Justin DeWitt. This is the designer who did Castle Panic.
Oh, okay.
And it's coming from Fireside Games. Yeah, so Helsing like just seemed cute. Like like what a theme. I can play as a pig. And I'm into it. So we're gonna say that's my number 8. All
right. My number 7 is, I think, maybe the smallest game on my list. There's one other that's about this weight, probably. It is called Fountains by Kendrick Winks, published by the Op. It's 1 to 5 player. Now, this is a tile-laying game about creating a fountain. And what drew me in, because I just sort of looked at it, the tiles are not the same shape. So there are these big circular tiles, but then there are these like rounded squares, and there's these sort of like inverted stars in a way, but they all kind of link together in these really interesting ways. And that was just something that just kind of stuck out to me. I don't know a whole lot about how the game is played, but I also saw that these fountain tiles become like multi-tiered as well. You can stack them on top of each other. A little bit like Acropolis, if you've played that.
I haven't, but I heard it's fantastic.
That's a really cool, like similar tile laying game where it stacks, and the way they stack really kind of matters. And so I don't know if it's exactly like that, but I really liked the visual like appeal of these interlocking shapes and how they stack up with each other. I can't say too much about
Sure.
it. I
like any of these.
I briefly skimmed through a Foster the Meeple video about this, which it seemed cool.
Okay.
For me watching about 2.5 minutes of that.
Cool. Fountains.
Yeah, so Fountains, my number 7.
Awesome. Okay. So my number 7 is Ego. This is...
I was looking at this.
Yeah, it actually came out in July of a month. Yeah, 2025. Sorry.
Yeah.
Words. It was a Kickstarter, I'm pretty sure, because Bitewing Games has been doing a lot of taking old Reiner Knizia games
right.
and retheming them and maybe tweaking some things. I just had a friend tell me that he liked it so much. He played it at Dice Tower East. The original game was called Beowulf the Legend.
I saw that it was in a reimplementation, but I haven't played that either.
I've never played that either, but all I know is that this game has a bunch of different auctions, and there's some politics, maybe alliances, and the art for the box cover seems really cool. So I'm just kind of yeah, it's Reiner Knizia,
Yeah. You're not going to go wrong.
Yeah, it might not be my favorite game.
Exactly,
but...
yeah. I'd say if you grab 5 Knizias at random, one of them is probably really good.
Yeah.
And the others are probably fine.
And I was just thinking, I was there are lots of different companies that are doing reimplementations of old Reiner Knizia games. Yeah. He's just loading up, right?
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, he's made 11 billion games, so you've got plenty to choose from.
11 billion and 2.
Ah, that's right. He did just come out with a couple more.
But yeah, this one just it sounded neat, and it's Reiner Knizia, so Ego from Bitewing Games. 2 to 5 players.
All right. So my number 6 is another space game. Surprise, surprise. I like space games.
Yeah.
And speaking of Knizia, this is Merchants of Andromeda. This is another Knizia game.
Is this a new one or or another reimplementation?
I think this is a new one.
Okay.
So this is published by Allplay, 3 to 5 players. And again, don't know a whole lot about it, but there is one thing that I do know which really seemed interesting to me. During this game, you're collecting these tiles, and they do certain things, and you collect 3 at a time, and one of them you're going to discard, and you'll get some resources based on whatever. It's either tiles or cards, but you're discarding it, and you'll get some resources. The other one you're going to keep, and that thing is going to give you some kind of points or a power or something like that. And then the third one you put up for a Dutch auction. And if you don't know it, a Dutch auction
I love Dutch auctions.
Yeah, it's a really cool thing. So a Dutch auction is is where the price steadily goes down. This was recently done very well in a game called Floristry, which is a simple 2-player tile-laying game with a perfect Dutch auction system.
David Gordon and Tam. Yeah.
And so this uses that where it just gets cheaper and cheaper, and whoever wins the Dutch auction gets this last. Again, I can't remember if it's a tile or a card, but we'll get it, and we'll get both the resources and the points or ability that came with it. So you're choosing one to discard, you're choosing one to keep, and then one is you're choosing one to be the Dutch auction. And I just think that's an interesting mechanic.
Yeah.
And then I'm always kind of a sucker for a space theme. So
yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah. So that's number 6, Merchants of Andromeda.
I don't know if you've ever gotten into any 18XX games, but 1848 Australia is one of my favorites because it has this Bank of England mechanism and situation, but because at the beginning of a lot of 18XX games, you auction off minor companies, and they have a Dutch auction on that one, and I was just like, this is so good.
Yeah. It's a difficult thing to implement in a board game, but if you can, I think it works. It's a really interesting thing to include.
Cool. Was that 6?
That was 6.
All right, I'm back on track here. Sort of. My number 6 is a very small game that I probably would not have discovered unless I looked at the preview list or stumbled upon their booth, but it's called Dice Clash.
Dice Clash. I didn't see this one.
It's designed by Galen McCown, Jonathan Carnell, and Ryan Smromlik.
I'm sure you got every single one of those exactly right.
Oh my gosh. And it's published by Gallons Games.
Okay.
This is a 1 to 2 player game. I'm pretty sure it comes in like a small tin. And this one's another re-implementation of a game that I had never heard of called Scuttleball. And side note, Scuttleball looks really cute because it's like these crabs, you're placing dice and they're playing like volleyball or something, or I guess Scuttleball. But
Sure.
So in Dice Clash, you're basically, each player is going to take on the role of one of 6 women warriors that are going to be battling for their chance at immortality. And the thing that I thought looked really cool about this is that you're using dice placement to have this like kind of dueling game, and each player has their own like battle grid. There was just something cool where like depending on like where I put a die on my battle grid, and then when you respond to that on your battle grid, it just seemed neat, and it has a lot of like tactical depth apparently. Cool. And it just sounded neat. Yeah. And I'm like, cool. But Scuttleball also.
It also sounds kind of cool.
Yeah, because the 2 designers, Jonathan and Ryan, they designed Scuttleball, and then Galen came in,
developed the new version of it.
Yeah, I guess with them. But it's called Dice Clash. Pretty sure it's like a tin box size game because it's just like some cards and dice.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And it seems cool.
And it fixes the obvious problem with Scuttleball, which is a crab playing volleyball. They're going to pop the ball. They can't help it. So
that's why they had to make a new version.
Had to.
Yeah. It just was not working.
Exactly.
Oh, wait, I'll just tell you one more thing just because I have the description handy for it. So it says, turns consist of playing a single die from your die pool to one of the open spaces on your battle grid, and the value of the die interacts with the space you play to determines the attack and defense value of your die, and then players defend with a value higher than the opponent's attack, but then you can like play white dice to re-roll remaining dice pool. There's a red dice, so there are different color dice. I don't know, it seemed cool, so I want to check it out. That's Dice Clash.
All right, so my number 5 is a new version of The Crew Family Adventure. Now, I love The Crew. I think it is one of my favorite cooperative games. It is, if you haven't played it, you've been living under a rock. The Crew is a cooperative trick-taking game, and you are working together to complete certain missions. The theme, let's be honest, kind of pasted on. So this new one, it's more of a Swiss Family Robinson kind of theme. Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
I saw there was like a new one, but like I didn't know what the deal was.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, you're working together to like, live on an island, on a deserted island or something like that. I could care less what the theme is, to be honest with you. I just want to see what they keep doing with this premise, because The Crew is already such
it's a banger.
It's like such a good game.
Yeah.
And Mission Deep Sea was even better than the original Crew. So I just want to see what they're bringing in for a third time at bat. I don't even need to know too much about it to be interested. I want to try it.
Cool. Now I want to try it too, because I don't know what I thought that was, but I didn't like really read into it. But I love The Crew, especially the second one. Great stuff.
Mission Deep Sea is so good.
Cool. Well, my number 5 is a solo game. So I just kind of discovered this again from looking at the preview list. And I ended up reaching out to the designer because then I looked at his other games and I was like, oh, wow, these all sound neat. And turns out I met him a year ago and I totally didn't connect the dots. But this is a solo game called Hercules and the 12 Laborers. It's designed by Tyler J. Brown, and it's coming from Envy Born Games. This is one that's expected to be out in September, so just after Gen Con. It's a solo game, and here we go, another dice game where you are playing as Hercules, and you're going to have to complete these 12 labors to ascend to godhood. You're basically, again, it's dice placement, and you're using dice to kind of trigger crazy abilities, and you're like fighting these monsters more or less, but it's it just like the art looks really cool. I don't know, like it just seems like a clever little dice game. Like I don't know. You said you soloed Vantage. Have you ever played like Chip Theory's 20 Strong?
Oh, I haven't played 20 Strong. No. I don't play a lot of solo games. Vantage, I've done a little bit of solo, and I've actually been playing a lot of Earthborn Rangers solo, but mostly
I still haven't played that.
It's
either.
solid. I mean, I've been playing a lot partially because I'm currently working on a tutorial for it.
Oh, cool.
So
then I'll wait.
So that'll be coming out very soon. But by the time this episode comes out, it should, if it's not up already, it'll be up by the end of the month.
Nice.
Yeah, so I've been playing a lot for that purpose. But it's also good. But anyway, I do like a small, contained, like solo game experience. Does this seem like it's a lighter game in that way, or is it a little bit chunkier, do you think?
Honestly, like, I think it's going to be small, but I think it's going to be meaty. You know, like, it sounds like there's going to be, like, some theme and narrative, like, from fighting these different monsters that you're trying to, like, go through. And I think, now, I'm trying not to mix up games, but I think this is the game where, like, you always fight the same monsters, but they're different things where you might have different abilities. I could be totally mixing this up with another game that I looked at recently.
This is a preview list. Like, we haven't played these games, so.
But yeah, this is Hercules and the 12 Labors, and it just, like, looks and sounds very compelling. And then when I looked up Tyler's other games, like, he has a new one called 23 Knives from Play to Z, and there was some other one that's, like, a 2-player kind of dueling game where I think one player's like a coyote and it's asymmetric. Something. I don't know. They all sounded cool. So I will play them and report back.
Awesome. So my number 4 is Citizens of the Spark by Philip DeBerry, Thunderworks Games. This is a 1 to 5 player game. Oh. Now, this is another one with a really, really cool art style. And what it is it's a variable setup card game where you have a bunch of different types of, these cards are like different citizens, but they're all anthropomorphic animals, and they all have different abilities, but you're not going to be playing with every card every time. And what you're trying to do is, attract different citizens and create like a tableau of cards, and they all have different colors, like different suits. I believe it's like different suits, or at the very least, they compound with each other if you have multiple of the same type. When you get one that you already have some of already, it is a stronger effect. But then you have to discard, like once you use the like really strong ability, you have to discard one of the one of these like of the stack that you're using. So you have to balance that in a way. And it reminded me, there's a game that I'll bang on about this game because I love it and no one's ever played it. It's called Ganymede. It's by a company called Sorry We Were French.
I know what you're talking about. I've never played it though.
It's a great lightweight engine builder, and it has a similar thing where like you want to get multiple cards with the same color because that just compounds the effects of every card that you play. But also you want to spread out and get a little bit of everything, so it's either you either focus or you spread out or something like that. Also has really interesting artwork.
Cool.
But yeah, so this reminded me of that in a way. And so, but it seems a little bit more, maybe a little bit more going on, a little bit more variety in the cards for sure. I got to take a very quick look at it at Gamma this year, and it's a beautiful game. The artwork is fantastic.
Very nice.
So that's my number 4.
What was it called again?
So that's my number 4, Citizens of the Spark.
Great guest.
Listen, I thought you might need another take.
No worries. Okay, actually, when I thought that I had my list like really locked in, there was actually one game that I realized was on there that I hadn't like looked into. So I think I'm switching out and I'm gonna go with my previous number 3 is now going to be my number 4, and that is a new game from Direwolf and Paul Denon, and it's called Lightning Train.
Lightning Train.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of this one, actually.
Okay, yeah. I mean, like, I think you would breeze by it, like, if you saw it. I mean, the cover is cool, but it's like, if you're not, like, train game person,
Sure.
you might go past it. But, like, Paul Dennen is the designer of Clank and, more importantly, Dune Imperium and all things Dune Imperium, which is, like, one of my favorite games, Dune Imperium Uprising, all of it.
So good.
Yeah, so good. So Paul Dennen's games have always been a hit with me, even though I'm kind of like tired of Clank, but I still appreciate like that it's an awesome game. So this is a game where you're running a railway company, and it's a bag building game. So he does deck building all the time. So this is a bag building train game. And I don't know, it sounds interesting enough, and I just love everything he does. So I'm like, I have to play it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's it. Lightning Train.
I mean, that's an interesting enough like twist on a train game to make me interested, to like the bag building.
Yeah, Paul Dennen bag building. Yeah.
Go for it. Yeah.
Cool.
All right, so my number 3 is Graft by IV Studio. And this plays 3 to 5, and I am always, at the very least, bare minimum, always interested in what IB Studio is putting out.
Oh, yeah.
Because their production value is always so good. And that is in play here because it's not a roll and write exactly, though it kind of seems like one, because you have these like pads, like you're writing on your these different like sheets. Everyone's got their own sheets. You're writing on them. You're stamping. You're using these little stamps that represent the different kinds of goods that you're collecting. It's essentially a farming game, but it's sort of a sci-fi futuristic farming game. The themes, it's kind of there. It's kind of, and you're filling up these warehouses with different resources that you're putting together. But what some might call this a gimmick, but I think it's just a really interesting way to present information, is that there are 2 different cards that you're working with that have scratch-offs elements on them. So you're like going through the forest, I think, or you're digging like a mine. And when you do that, you are physically scratching off the square on this card to see what it is that you uncover when you do it. And I don't think I've ever seen any other game do scratch-offs.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I got a chance to play this last year, I think. Did a video with Becca over on Good Time Society, and some fun guests. Ruel Gaviola was there as well.
Cool.
And it feels like a really chunky roll and write, but it's actually more of like a drafting system, where you're drafting certain like cards that come out. And there's also a little bit of neighbor interaction as well. Sometimes you can help each other out. You can like put a wish list out, and if a neighbor helps you with that wish list, they get points or some kind of benefit for that as well.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so it's a bit much. It's a lot to take in when you first play it, but I felt like it was a very satisfying game, and I would definitely want to try it again. Graft by IV Studio.
Cool. Yeah, I love like the what's the negotiate Moonrakers,
yeah.
And
cool.
and then why can't I think of the name? I was just talking about it. The abstract strategy one with the
Mythic Mischief.
Mythic Mischief. Yeah. Great game. Production out of this world. That's cool. I'll have to check that one out. This is the new one that the late edition that just snuck in, but like I'm really excited about it. And it's Habemus Papam.
What did you just say?
I don't know, and I'm sorry if I offended you. Yeah. Habemus Papam. This is a design from Francisco Gradale, and it's from Salt and Pepper Games. And initially, I thought like Salt and Pepper Games, like they usually do these small box games, and this might be a small box game, but it says 3 to 6 players. So I was like, oh, okay. But basically, you're taking on the role of like different cardinal factions, and you're trying to influence the election of the next pope. And
interesting.
Yeah, and it sounds like there's
Topical.
like there's something where you're using resources for like playing cards. There's where you're trying to gain influence, and I love those kind of games, forging alliances, breaking them. Like that's my jam. And everything Salt and Pepper games have done has been super cool. And I was like, whoa, a 3 to 6 player game? Because I always see like the 2-player ones, I think, for the most part, or solo, But this just sounded like a very unique theme. I don't even know what the game board looks like. Like, I know what the box cover, but...
Listen, sometimes you just see a box cover and you're like, yeah, I want to play this game.
Yes. I want to have control over the next Pope.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that was my number 3.
All right, my number 2, and again, this is going to be one with a really interesting art style. This is Wroth. By Manny Tremblay, Chip Theory Games.
Cool art.
Yeah, this is 1 to 4. Now, I'm going to say not everyone's going to love the art on this. It is very neon, and it's like paint splotchy, kind of. This is an area control game, but it's a very asymmetric area control game because everyone is playing as a different faction, and these factions have wildly different abilities. I got to demo this like a year ago when it was still in development. So I've played it, but it might have changed a little bit since I've played it. I'm not 100% sure. But I remember really enjoying it. I was playing as a faction who... I was like the thieves, essentially. I was stealing from other people.
Wow, Shea.
And yeah, I know.
I wouldn't have invited you over here if I knew you were going to be...
Well, too late. I'm here now. But yeah, so I was playing a kind of cutthroat faction, so everyone was really like on edge around me, but I was able to like actually do my abilities, which I always feel like whenever you're playing a faction, it's like, I steal from you. Everyone's like, cool, we're not going to play with you, essentially. Or like they're going to play in this side of the world.
Right.
But there's not really enough room to avoid each other in this kind of game. So you are very much in each other's faces and you have to deal with everyone's abilities. And the abilities are very different. So again, it's been a while since I played it. I don't remember exactly like how the factions work. I just remember that it really felt like the differences in faction design made it for a very different experience for every player. And it was a close game. I remember it was...
Cool.
So yeah, I had a lot of fun with it, and I definitely want to try it again.
I mean, I am a fan of all things Chip Theory, and I think the only reason this isn't on my list is because, like, I know I want to play more Elder Scrolls, like we were talking about.
Yeah, but this is so much smaller.
I know, it's a
very contained experience, and I think...
Okay, like, you sold me.
In comparison to the other Chip Theory games, many of which I really like, this is so much easier to get to the table.
Yeah.
And I think that's, at least I hope, will draw a lot of people in.
And I do love that art style. It's called Wroth, right?
Wroth.
Yeah.
WROTH.
Oh, now I'm excited about that. Yeah.
It's cool.
Okay. Yeah. Sold. All right. My number 2 is a game that I've been excited about for a while, and it is Meltwater, 2nd edition.
Meltwater. I don't know about this one.
Oh, good. So, Meltwater is a game that was originally released by Holland Spiel in 2018. It's designed by Aaron Escobedo, and it's a 2-player game with a very different kind of theme. I think the tagline on the old one was a game of tactical starvation. And basically the setting is, it's like after a nuclear war, like sometime in the future, and the US and Soviet forces are basically fighting to survive in Antarctica because that's the only place that still has like some clean water, but it's like you kind of have to eliminate your opponent a little bit.
Okay.
So I have the original version. It's a fun full circle moment for me because Clay, who's the owner of Capstone Games, is the one who told me about Meltwater back at Gamma in 2020 when I was like my first convention with BGG, and it was like, right like a week before the pandemic lockdown and everything. But I think I was maybe at that point getting into like war games, and whatever it was, Clay was like, oh, you should check out this game. And so I love that it's finally now more available, or it will be I think this one is going to be at I think it's a Gen Con release or shortly after. But I love that like Clay was the one who loved it and it was able to pull the strings to make it come back under capstone.
Yeah, that's
and
cool.
The box cover art
Oh,
is
that's
like
sick.
Is really, really, really cool. Basically, like each, I mean, I don't know if there are any changes to it in this like new edition aside from art and like cosmetic stuff. You're basically taking the shattered remains of superpowers and you're trying to control the ice. And there's a whole thing where there's like pollution from the water that's coming in. So you're kind of trying to strategically starve your opponent. I mean, it's
rough.
Yes, it is. It is a very rough theme, but it's just a unique kind of game.
Yeah.
And then the theme is like crazy. But anyway, I've been really excited about the new version.
Very cool.
So if you're at Gen Con or looking for a 2-player game with a very unique theme, check out Meltwater.
Very cool. All right. We're at the end of the list. But if you've been paying attention, you know what my number one game is.
Yes.
Because you've already picked this. This was a little lower on your list. No, my number one game is Luthier by Paverson Games. We've already talked about it. It's the Euro game. It's got this really cool bidding mechanic of where you're going to put your workers. I fell in love with it the one time I was able to play it back when it was still in its crowdfunding campaign, and I just really want to play it again. Of all the games, like looking back on that, I was like, man, I really just want to play that one again. I had such a good time with it.
Cool. Well, my number one is Vantage.
Oh, hey! Fantastic.
So, bye. Yeah. I was like, when you mentioned you played, I was like, oh, awesome. But yeah, I haven't, like, it's been a while since I've been like really excited for a Stonemaier game. Like I've never played Wormspan, I've never played Finspan, and I'm sure from what I hear, like they're fantastic. But I kind of like didn't. I fell out of love with Tapestry pretty early on after a couple plays, and I was like, oh, and I was like really excited for it.
Yeah.
Just as I'm excited for Vantage, but like just this whole concept, everything you said, like I was like, that sounds so neat, and it actually reminded me to ask you: have you ever played Unsettled?
I haven't played Unsettled.
Oh, okay.
Is it a similar kind of game?
Unsettled is a space survival cooperative game that's like a system where you go to these different planets and you have different challenges, and it's really, really cool. We'll talk about it later.
Okay.
I'm like, if anybody else cares, I don't remember exactly which episode I talked about this, but I'm pretty sure I've talked about Unsettled multiple times. Mm-hmm. But it's super cool. Anyways, yeah, Vantage is like, it just sounds so unique.
Yeah.
And again, I love these kind of like adventure exploration type games. And yeah, so I'm pretty excited about that one.
Awesome.
Yeah, well, our number ones were so like kind of anticlimactic.
I know. But it's what we talked about. Just go back and listen to the part where we talked about them.
Yeah, and also Luthier might be higher on my list. It probably would be. And now that I know it's your number one, maybe it is a little higher in my mind. I don't know. All these games sound exciting.
Yeah.
Like everything you mentioned sounds really cool. And we'll see what I get to play over the next couple months with these new Gen Con releases.
Very exciting, yeah.
Awesome. Well, Shea, you are the other reason I invited you here is because you're going to be a guinea pig for a new way I'm closing the podcast.
Ooh, okay.
I'm going to ask you a random question. Now, I didn't get to build out my grid, but as you can see, I have BGG colored dice here, 2 D20s, a purple and an orange, and I have a grid in progress where I'm basically going to put in a random thought, a random question, and it's gonna probably be gaming related because like I'm random. Like I think of stuff and I'm like, oh, that would be cool, or that'd be funny to say. So I'm going to force my randomness on my guest co-host. And since I haven't built out my grid yet, I'm just going to tell you. Yeah, we'll pretend.
We'll spin that wheel.
Oh, there we go. There we go. But I think the question that I thought about that like made me think like, oh, it'd be fun to ask people. But what is the last board game or like the most recent board game that you've purchased or acquired from like a publisher or whatever that you were so excited that you like opened it like almost immediately?
Oh, okay.
Because we all have this thing where like a lot of games come in and you're excited about them, but you don't get to like crack it open and play it.
Yeah.
And like, so like, what did you crack open and play,
So the most recent one that I like got to the table very quickly after it arrived. So this is for an upcoming video that I'm going to be doing for Rahdo. And it's a game called Mercurial Alchemia.
Ooh.
Yeah, it sounds like an anime. Kind of looks like one.
Ooh,
it's
cool.
It is a deck building game, but it really kind of flips the script on deck building games with some minor changes. So it's a simple thing of like when you are acquiring a card, which you don't always do every round, because there's a little bit of action selection as well. And so acquiring cards is only like half of what you're doing in that way. But when you do that, it goes on the bottom of your deck, not into your discard pile. So you know it's coming. And especially if you pair acquiring cards with like drawing cards, special drawing abilities, then you're going to get it right away.
Gotcha.
And that is such a small change, but it really affected the gameplay of it. So I thought that was really interesting. And then the other big thing about it, the game is about making potions out of different ingredients.
Fun.
And the idea is when you're drawing them from your hand, that's like they've grown in your terrarium and you're able to like cut them. And you can use them for the abilities, but you can also sometimes put them into your potion. And when you put them into your potion, because your potion is going to be made of several different ingredients, that's sort of putting it in a separate discard pile, which removes them from your cycle for a little while until you finish the potion and sell it.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, so it was something I was kind of interested in. It got to me. I was like, okay, cool. I think I can play this right away, so I'll unbox it right now. And then I ended up playing with a friend just to test it out. I was like, oh, this is actually really good.
Oh, cool.
So now I'm like excited to make a video for it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I will look out for that. Cool. All right. Well, it's time for me to teach you Guards of Atlantis 2. So we
looking
have
forward to it.
end this episode.
We've been going on for a little while. I'm getting a little hungry, getting a little excited to play a game.
Hungry.
So I think it's a
But,
good time.
thanks for being down to do this.
Sure. Thanks for having me.
You've been listening to the Board Game Geek podcast, produced and edited by Candace Harris. Special thanks to Matt Fonda for editing and mixing our music. Be sure to visit us on the web at BoardGameGeek.com. You can also find us on YouTube, X, Blue Sky, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitch under Board Game Geek.
It's too many places.
You can reach us by email at podcast@BoardGameGeek.com. Thanks for gaming. Oh, wow.
I ruined your whole flow. I'm sorry.
Thanks for listening and happy gaming.